Picture this. You're strolling through your garden and suddenly notice an ordinary-looking tree. You have no idea that this plant has seen dinosaurs. Yes, that very tree growing in your garden or in a nearby park was a witness to the era when 4-ton lizards walked the earth. Sounds incredible? However, it's absolutely true. And today we'll talk about real survivor champions of the plant world. Why is this topic so important for us, gardeners and nature lovers? Because these plants aren't just beautiful specimens for our garden. They're symbols of incredible endurance and adaptability. By studying their history, we understand how nature works, how plants adapt to climate and environmental changes. And this knowledge directly helps us better care for plants at home, choose the right varieties, and create more resilient gardens. How it all began. Before talking about specific plants, we need to understand one important event. About 66 million years ago, something occurred that's called mass extinction. A huge meteorite struck Earth, resulting in an enormous cloud of dust and ash rising. The sun disappeared behind the clouds, eternal night fell, and plants stopped receiving light for photosynthesis, the process by which plants eat, sunlight, and create nutrition for themselves. You might ask, how could plants possibly survive in such a situation? The answer is simple but brilliant. Some of them had such a structure that allowed them to endure this ordeal. These plants had powerful underground parts, sturdy seeds capable of hibernating for many years, or root systems that spread horizontally and fed on accumulated energy. Moreover, these plants didn't rely entirely on pollination by insects, which died in massive numbers after the meteorite impact. They could reproduce by wind, spread through spores, or simply produced so many seeds that at least some would survive. Ginkgo biloba. Let's start with a true star among ancient plants, Ginkgo biloba. This tree deserves first place on our list, and here's why. Ginkgo has existed on Earth for more than 250 million years. Imagine, when dinosaurs hadn't yet appeared, Ginkgo was already an adult tree. And after the meteorite strike, when dinosaurs disappeared, Ginkgo continued to grow. This tree literally survived an entire geological epoch. How did this happen? The secret lies in its structure. Ginkgo has a strong, deep root system that can reach water from great depths. Its unusually shaped leaves, resembling a fan or butterfly wing, allow the tree to survive dry periods. Moreover, Ginkgo is incredibly resistant to diseases and pests. It seems nature specifically created this tree to live forever. In nature, Ginkgo grows in China and is considered a sacred tree there. Today, it's cultivated worldwide. And if you want to plant a true dinosaur survivor in your garden, Ginkgo is your choice. How to grow Ginkgo in your garden. This tree needs a sunny location, though it does well in partial shade. The soil can be any type, but well-drained soil is preferable. Ginkgo doesn't require frequent watering and calmly tolerates drought. It's best to plant Ginkgo in fall or early spring. The tree grows slowly for the first 5 years, but then picks up speed. By the way, in autumn, Ginkgo leaves turn bright yellow, and this sight is absolutely stunning. Many consider this the most beautiful moment of the year. Cycads. Now let's move on to another miracle plant, cycads. If Ginkgo is a tree, then cycads are something resembling a palm, but it's actually a completely different plant. Cycads have existed for more than 280 million years, which means they appeared long before dinosaurs and survived them. Today, about 300 cycad species remain in the world, found in tropical and subtropical regions. Externally, a cycad resembles a palm. It has a ringed trunk and feathery leaves. But in reality, a cycad isn't a palm at all. It's a completely different plant that reproduces through spores, like a fern. Why did cycads survive? Because they have a powerful underground stem that accumulates nutrients. Even if the above-ground part of the plant dies, the underground stem can produce new shoots. Moreover, cycads grow slowly but live very long. They can live for more than 1,000 years. This means one plant can survive several geological catastrophes. If you want to grow cycads at home, you need to understand that it's a tropical plant. It requires warmth, humidity, and bright light. Cycads prefer moist but not waterlogged soil. Watering should be done during the warm season. In winter, watering is reduced. Important note, cycads grow very slowly. The first leaf might appear only months after planting. But don't worry, this is normal. It simply means the plant is investing all its energy in developing a root system. Ferns. If you've ever seen a fern, you know how striking this plant looks with its huge dissected leaves. Now imagine that during the dinosaur era, ferns were actually the main plants on the planet. They formed entire forests, and dinosaurs ate the leaves of these plants. Ferns appeared approximately 360 million years ago, meaning they're much older than even dinosaurs. And after dinosaurs disappeared, ferns continued to grow. Today, more than 10,000 fern species exist on Earth, found on all continents. How did ferns survive? The key moment is their ability to reproduce through spores. Spores are very tiny reproductive particles resembling dust. They're easily carried by wind over great distances and can remain alive for many years. Moreover, ferns typically have well-developed root systems that help them survive droughts. At home, ferns are mainly grown as houseplants. They need shade or partial shade, humidity, and regular watering. Ferns prefer soil rich in organic matter. If you have a moist spot in your house, like a bathroom or kitchen, a fern will grow there perfectly. Interesting fact: some fern species are very undemanding. For example, Nephrolepis fern, so-called American sword fern, can grow even in low light and tolerates periodic air dryness. Coniferous plants. If you want to plant in your garden something that saw dinosaurs, conifers are an excellent choice. Pines, spruces, firs, cypresses, and cedars. All of these are conifers, and all survived the catastrophe 66 million years ago. Conifers appeared approximately 300 million years ago and were dominant plants on Earth. When climate began to change, conifers adapted best to new conditions. Why are conifers so hardy? First, their needles aren't ordinary leaves but special leaf organs that lose minimal moisture. This allows conifers to grow in dry climates and survive lengthy droughts. Second, conifers have a powerful root system and accumulate nutrients in their tissues. Third, conifers have a very efficient seed reproduction system. For home and garden, conifers are simply a treasure. They require minimal care, are beautiful year-round, and work wonderfully for creating hedges or alpine gardens. Which conifers to choose? For northern regions, spruces, pines, and larches are suitable. For warmer places, you can choose cypress or juniper. All conifers prefer well-drained soil and dislike waterlogging. Watering is mainly needed during planting and in the first year of growth. Tip: conifers grow slowly in the first years but then pick up speed. Don't expect a young spruce to turn into a huge tree in 2 or 3 years. This can take decades. But then this tree will grow throughout your life and your children's lives. Sequoia. If you think ginkgo is the oldest tree on Earth, prepare for a surprise. There is a tree older than ginkgo. This tree is called sequoia. Coast redwood, Sequoia sempervirens, is one of the oldest trees on the planet. Some specimens have lived more than 3,500 years. This means that when ancient Egyptians were building pyramids, these trees were already growing in California. And most importantly, they survived the extinction of dinosaurs. Sequoia is not just an old tree. It's the tallest tree on Earth. The height of some specimens exceeds 100 meters. Imagine such a giant. How did sequoia manage to survive dinosaur extinction? The secret is simple. This tree is incredibly resistant to diseases and pests. Its wood contains special substances that don't allow rotting bacteria to destroy it. Even if part of the tree burns in a forest fire, it's capable of growing new branches from remaining tissues. Moreover, sequoia grows in only one place on Earth, in California, in the Sierra Nevada mountains. There it found ideal growing conditions: fog providing moisture, soil rich in nutrients, and a climate that doesn't change sharply. Can an ordinary gardener grow sequoia? Technically yes, but it's a task for experienced people. Sequoia requires coolness, high humidity, and doesn't tolerate frost. If you live in a mild climate, you can try growing sequoia, but it will require patience and knowledge. Young trees need protection from frost and wind and must be provided with constant air humidity. Bamboo. You might think that bamboo is simply a fast-growing plant. But actually, Bamboo has an ancient history rooted in the Mesozoic era, when dinosaurs walked. Bamboo belongs to the grass family, and it's amazingly adapted for life. There are about 1,500 bamboo species, and they're found on all continents except Antarctica. Some bamboo species grow in Asia, others in America and Africa. What makes bamboo so hardy? First, bamboo has a strong underground root system and rhizomes that spread quickly through soil. This allows the plant to recover quickly from damage. Second, bamboo grows incredibly fast. Some species can grow a meter in a day. Such a growth rate means the plant outpaces competitors in the fight for light. If you want to grow bamboo, keep several important points in mind. First, some bamboo species spread aggressively and can crowd out other plants. So it's better to plant bamboo in limited space or choose non-invasive species. Second, bamboo prefers moist soil and high air humidity. Watering should be regular, especially in the first year of growth. Practical tip: if you're worried that bamboo will spread throughout your garden, plant it in a large pot or fence off the root system with an iron plate, burying it at least half a meter deep. Cycas revoluta, another ancient plant, often confused with a palm or cycad, is Cycas revoluta. This plant grows on the islands of Japan and looks like a miniature palm with stiff, almost spiky leaves. Cycas is another example of a plant that remains practically unchanged over millions of years. During the dinosaur era, cycas looked almost the same as today. Paleontologists find imprints of cycas leaves in ancient rocks and note with surprise that they're practically identical to modern leaves. How to grow cycas? This plant requires bright light and warmth. Cycas doesn't like waterlogging, so soil should dry out between waterings. In summer, cycas can be taken outside into the shade. In winter, the plant prefers cooler conditions. Interesting point: cycas grows very slowly. One leaf can grow for several months. But this is normal. It simply means the plant is investing all its energy in developing a powerful root system. Interesting facts about ancient plants. Let's look at several amazing facts about these plants. First fact: ginkgo can live more than 1,000 years. Some specimens growing in temples in Japan and China have survived wars, earthquakes, and other catastrophes. Second fact: ginkgo wood doesn't rot and lasts a long time. Because of this, ginkgo is often planted as a sacred tree, as it symbolizes longevity. Third fact: cycads grow so slowly that in 100 years they can grow only a few centimeters. But they live thousands of years. Fourth fact: some ferns have leaves that can reach several meters in length. The royal fern growing in the tropics has leaves over 1 meter long. Fifth fact: bamboo is not a tree but grass. True, it's very large grass. Bamboo grows so fast that its growth can be seen from the side. People say that in one night, bamboo can grow several centimeters. Sixth fact: sequoia can live after its main trunk completely burns in a forest fire. It simply grows new trunks from side buds. General care advice. Let's summarize several general rules that will help you successfully grow ancient plants. First rule: patience. Most of these plants grow slowly, especially in the first years. Don't expect miraculous results in the first year. Give plants time to root and adapt. Second rule: correct location choice. Make sure you understand each plant's light requirements. This is very important for success. Third rule: drainage. Most ancient plants don't like water stagnation. Make sure the soil drains well so water doesn't accumulate at the roots. Fourth rule: organic matter. Add compost and other organic materials to the soil. This will enrich the soil with nutrients. Fifth rule: protection in the first year. In the first year after planting, protect young plants from strong wind and extreme temperatures. Sixth rule: minimal chemicals. Ancient plants are generally undemanding and rarely get sick. Avoid frequent pesticide use and other chemical products. Allow plants to rely on their natural immunity. Conclusion: so we've completed an incredible journey through time. We learned about plants that saw dinosaurs, survived catastrophe, and reached our days practically unchanged. Ginkgo, cycads, ferns, conifers, sequoia, bamboo, cycas. All these plants aren't just beautiful specimens for our garden. They're living witnesses to our planet's history. Each one tells a story of endurance, adaptability, and life force. By growing these plants, you're not just decorating your garden. You become part of something big and magnificent. You become a caretaker of plants that survived an entire geological epoch. Start with one plant, choose the one you like most. Plant it, care for it with love, and you'll see how it becomes a beautiful specimen in your garden. And when you look at this plant, remember that you're looking at a miracle of nature, a plant that survived when all other life on Earth was threatened. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments which of these plants you like the most and whether you're already growing any of them in your garden. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos.